I've been told your family life was quite stoic. You yourself have said emotions were not discussed. Give a little color to that, if you don't mind.
Sure. This is 1960s and New England, and I think particularly for boys, talking about emotions was not something that was ever developed. And so I don't know that I was that untypical. But it really wasn't until I went to college that I started realizing how rich emotions could be.
You said you felt kind of lonely back then.
Yeah. If the friends are just people you do things with and not people you share feelings with, that's a fairly thin definition of friends, but that's what I had.
What do you think you learned from each parent?
From my mom, a sense of doing things right, kind of justice, kindness, those would be the big ones. And then from my dad, a kind of super hard work. He was a lawyer, piercing intelligence, kind of probing, Socratic method.
You guys relocated to D.C. at one point for his job, I think, right?
Yeah, he
From
went
Boston.
to work for the government for Nixon for a couple of years, 5, 6 years. So we were in D.C. for those years.
Yeah, you mentioned your mom. One article read, his mother was a Boston debutante from a social register family who married a lawyer who later worked in the Nixon administration. She was repulsed by the world of high society and taught her children to disdain it.
I don't know who wrote that, but I would say that's probably a little overwrought. But she had no love of sort of Boston society and wanted to break out of that, which she successfully did as an entrepreneur and as a social service founder.
In speaking to your early entrepreneurial ambitions, there's something with cinnamon sticks?
Well, cinnamon sticks was, it's when you take wood sticks and soak them in cinnamon oil and then sell them 5 or 10 at a time. Was a hobby / business I did in, 7th, 8th, 9th grade there.
And then vacuum cleaners door to door, right?
Yeah, I sold vacuum cleaners door to door after high school. So a number of kind of formative experiences.
What was it in high school that made you realize you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
I don't think I really ever thought that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know any entrepreneurs. So I was content in taking classes and doing well in traditional things. And it was only coming to Stanford graduate school after the Peace Corps when I was around the Silicon Valley magic potions and, when you'd meet people who had started companies, and I was like, well, if that guy can do a company, I can. Okay, it really, up until that point, I'd never met anyone who had started a company. So, it was just like doctors, lawyers, engineers, and I was going to be an engineer.